Oh, hello. Today I'm reviewing Tasty Mouth cat food. It's a hit. I give it 5 Chads out of 5. And now I'm going to review the Wolverine Ultimate Razer Crack. I don't know, there's so many names now. All right, now I'm going to review the Razer Wolverine Ultimate gaming controller. Let's go to that sexy B-roll. Wasn't that exciting? Let's unbox it. Just as I thought, it's unbox o'clock. Very hefty. Ooh, that's pretty. That's a very short unboxing. Wait. Ooh. This is what you get in the box. Here's the cable, a little card talking about how winning is important. Here's a controller. Yeah. Also comes with a carrying case, and the most exciting of all, instructions. So why would you want to buy this controller that has 27 buttons? How about 27 buttons, interchangeable D-pad and thumbsticks, RGB lighting, trigger stops, and of course, a dope carrying case. Before we get into this review, I think it's important to note that I only reviewed it on PC. That being said, Razer does claim that this works with PC and Xbox. So let's see how that turns out. First up, let's talk about those buttons. The Razer Wolverine has a whopping 27 different buttons. Regular Xbox controllers only have 13. That's 100% more buttons for 200% more cost. They've added 2 shoulder buttons, 4 trigger buttons, and they also put in 4 new face buttons. So the real question is, will extra buttons really make you a better gamer? I think we know the answer to that. Yeah man, 20 bucks. No, all you gotta do is film yourself playing Overwatch and destroying everybody. No, of course I'm not gonna use the footage during one of my reviews, that way I can pretend that I'm actually better at playing games than I really am. Whoa, private meeting! Private meeting! Truth be told, I thought that the extra buttons were actually quite useful, although the ones underneath, the underneath buttons only got in the way. One of my issues is that I kept on accidentally hitting the M3 button during most gaming sessions. Ah, damn this controller. And damn these sausage fingers. We're not done talking about the buttons yet, guys. Something that I thought was weird, but then I actually really started enjoying later on, was the way the buttons feel when they're pressed. The best way to describe the feeling would be to compare it to a mouse. That little clicky feeling, those buttons have it. It's a bit tricky to explain, so here's a video example showing me pressing buttons. Boop. That last one was not an Xbox controller.
Not with that attitude.
The clicking feeling is actually really enjoyable, and it does make the controller feel more responsive. I kinda wish more game companies would use this technology. With all those buttons, you must be wondering, hey Leo, can I customize this controller any way I want? Absolutely not. This is actually one of my big gripes about the controller. You can't actually remap any of the extra buttons to a keyboard-specific stroke. I know what you're thinking. Leo, your videos are informative and hilarious. And I would agree. The issue I have here, the customization options are pretty limited. All you can really do is swap between which buttons are active. For example, if you'd like to program the M3 button on the controller to pull up the plasma rifle in Doom, or maybe change the color on your Razer headset, you can't. All you can do is program it to do what other buttons on the controller already can. So if you want the M3 button to be the X button, or the shoulder button, or the A button, you're fine. Let's be honest, that's pretty weak. Almost as weak as my ability to handle spicy foods. Oh, I'm terrible with spicy food, and I will not be harming my body just for a few laughs. So my producers tell me it would be totally worth it for me to drink hot sauce for laughs. So here we go. Ugh, that's not so bad. The controller has 4 buttons on the base, which are actually quite useful-ish. The first one is a button that allows you to swap what the buttons do. So basically you press it, swap buttons, and there you have it. I didn't use this button because honestly the Razer application is way more intuitive, so I kind of stayed away from that button, the same way I stay away from furries. Come on! There is something that I thought was really cool about the default button settings of the M5 button. Let's cut to the B-roll of the M5 button to show which one it is. That's the one. As a default, they allow you to set the sensitivity of the thumbsticks. So if you're playing a first-person shooter and all of a sudden you pull out your sniper rifle and the sensitivity is a little bit too high, just press the M5 default button and your sensitivity will be fine. I'll probably just use that take. To be honest, I think having a sensitivity button would be quite handy in real life. Hey babe, does this dress make me look fat? No, it makes you look morbidly obese. You're so beautiful! You're so beautiful, I love. No. Perfect. Next up, we've got interchangeable thumbsticks and D-pad. Depending on the ergonomics you're looking for, you can switch the D-pad and the thumbsticks to better suit your hand. This might not sound like a big deal, because quite frankly it isn't, but I still think it's cool. You can change everything super easily. Why is it so easy, you ask? Because it's magnets. You want to change that D-pad? Bam, magnets. You want to change those thumbsticks? Bam, magnets. You want to kill the first boss in Dark Souls 3? Magnets won't help you here. Get good. Okie dokie, let's move on. How about we talk about those trigger switches? No, I'm not talking about that time that you called out your cousin for identifying as a mage, dragon, wolf, teapot hybrid. I'm talking about the little switches that allow you to change the travel distance of the triggers. These little switches are literally my favorite part of this controller. All they do is make the travel distance on the triggers a little bit shorter. What does that mean? Well, it means that when you're playing a first-person shooter, you can shoot faster. I know what you're thinking. Faster isn't always better. I really enjoy the shorter travel distance, and this is one of those changes that actually made me better at the game. Crazy. Next up, let's talk I forgot to talk about some of the buttons. Let's go back to the buttons again. Say your partner likes a certain button layout and you like something else. All you need to do is set it up in the app, and then you're one click away from switching profiles. Or if you're dangerously single, you can set up 2 profiles for 2 different games. One day I'll find the one. I'm kidding, you're the one for me. You've also got a mute button and a volume button. Let me explain in great detail what these buttons do. If you want to mute the audio, press the mute audio button. If you want to raise or lower the volume, press the volume button combined with the D-pad. That's it. I thought the mute button was actually pretty useful, but using the volume key in conjunction with the D-pad, more trouble than it's worth. Okay, so those trigger switches are really wait, where are we? RGB lights. Let's talk about the RGB lights. Let's be honest, the RGB lights here are kind of underwhelming. It's just a little strip on the controller. Looks cool, but it won't really do anything that'll amplify the gaming experience. Unless, of course, all you need to be immersed are pretty lights. Oh my god. This changes everything. You can choose from 6 lighting effects: breathing, immersive, reactive, spectrum cycling, static, or wave. It's nice to have that many options, but honestly, the difference between each one is pretty minimal. In the end, I just set mine to static and the color pink because it's pretty. And that's the end of the light chapter. While we're on the subject of lights, I think it's important we discuss what controls them. And no, it's not the Illuminati. It's actually the Razer Controller Xbox Setup app. Yup, it's time for my biggest issue. The controller and application are clearly not optimized for the PC. Real talk, I tried to set up the controller with the Razer Synapse application, and I was unsuccessful. After spending about 30 minutes on the phone with a Razer rep, I was told that I can't actually use that application to control my controller. But if I want to, I can download another application to use it. Fun. So after downloading the app, I realized that I can't actually use it without an Xbox controller. Mouse and keyboard? Screw you, use the controller. If you quit the app, make sure you press the exit tab with the controller. Otherwise, all those changes you made won't take effect. Thanks for that, Razer. Convenient. The app allows you to assign buttons, change the lighting, program the sensitivity. It also allows you to create different profiles and program the vibration options. And you can also rename the controller. Although when I renamed my controller, it crashed my computer. Twice. Fool me once, shame on you, Razer. Fool me twice, make better software. Something I did enjoy, and most controllers have this already, is the headphone jack. The 3.5mm jack is conveniently placed at the bottom of the controller. That being said, it can be a little bit tricky to plug in your headphones when you're playing a Japanese game. All right, I think the moment has come. It's time to talk about the wildest feature of this controller. It comes with a case. The Razer Wolverine Ultimate is going to set you back about 200 bucks, maybe less if you can find it on special. Maybe more if there's a place that does opposite specials, where they charge more. Don't buy it there, I guess. So let's talk pros. I really like the mouse-like clickiness of the buttons, and holy fudge do I like those trigger stop switches. Wow! Being able to swap out the thumbsticks and D-pad is also pretty terrific, although I just use the default ones. Still pretty cool. Being able to switch between profiles with one click of a button, also super useful. What about the cons? One of my big issues with Razer is the application used. It's clearly not optimized for PC, and it makes customizing the controller a pretty big headache. Not being able to remap the extra buttons to other functions is also a bummer. I'm also not a big fan of the bottom buttons, particularly the M3 and the M4 button. I ended up just disabling them so they'd be out of the way. And of course, this controller is not wireless. In this day and age, it feels a little bit archaic to not provide a wireless option. So what's the final verdict? I give the controller 3 Razers out of 5. Hey guys, thanks for watching my review. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. And if you hated it, leave a comment. And if you felt nothing, go ahead and subscribe. Kisses!